Figure out what we're doing together. Hey, okay, I think we're live. Hi, hey
Yes.
Marsha.
Hi.
It's so good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I like your beard.
Oh, thanks. I know. Well, it's that's what happens in quarantine. Um,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm pretty good, Yeah. I'm doing pretty well. I'm frustrated this second just because the sound is a little crackly, but
Okay.
yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, tech issues have become a normal part of our lives, but
Yeah.
I think it's working. We're live, and um, let me
Yeah.
see. I was wondering if we could start with a centering. Do you want to lead something or do you want me to?
You know what? Maybe you should because I'm still kind of settling,
Okay.
getting here. So if you don't
All
mind,
right.
yeah, that'd be great.
So why don't we start by noticing the position of the body and how it feels wherever you're sitting, whatever you're sitting on, feet on the floor, exhaling, grounding down. Inhale, feel the breath lifting, lengthening the spine all the way up to the top of the head. And then just spend a moment noticing how you're feeling, sensations in the body, the sensations of the breath, allowing it all to come in. Notice what you're resisting. See if you can let it all in. And then take a breath. And as you exhale, slowly opening the eyes, coming back. Um,
Turn off my phone.
okay, I know some people are having trouble getting on the feed. So
Yeah.
I usually follow along and just see if there's any questions. Also, I'm not sure if Melanie is there today, and they can check and see if there's any questions or comments on the Facebook feed. Um,
Okay. Did you want me to go to the Facebook feed as well,
no,
or?
you don't need to. So I'll
No?
just let you know if there's anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tag um,
Okay.
someone. So yeah, so talk to me about how are you these days?
Well, I think kind of like everybody, there's been some really funny memes with pictures of, like a movie star, usually a character actress or actor, and these different movies they've been in, and one day they're this way, and the next day they're somewhere, they're chaos, the next day they're peaceful. And somebody asked me, how I was doing, and I feel like they all happen at the same time. So, and then I choose which one, whichever is the most prevalent, and go with that one. So I really liked
Uh-huh.
that talked about resistance during the centering.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How are you doing?
Similar. I'm pretty good. I feel like I'm working too much. That's
Mm,
my coping
yeah,
mechanism. I love my work and I
yeah,
feel very dedicated to it, but I also sometimes do too much. I've been on lots of calls today, lots of Zoom calls, but generally I feel really lucky. I feel like I have my family's doing pretty well, which is not always the case.
yeah,
So it's nice that my kids are in a pretty good place right now, and I have a nice place that I live. I have a little garden, so I can be outside if I want to, and I live in California. The weather's nice, so
yeah.
you're in Ohio,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's absolutely exquisitely, gorgeously, beautifully incredible. I mean, it's blossoming left and right. I keep seeing this red-tailed hawk following me everywhere. She's
Wow.
So I'm taking that as a sign for me. She was around again today on our walk, and I'm walking a ton, and it's beautiful. So, and Ohio's really done a good job. I mean, kudos to the governor and the
Mhm.
main director surgeon there. She's phenomenal. So, where I am anyway, people seem pretty mellow so far about it all. So,
Yeah.
which is good.
Actually,
And we have kids here.
I'm supposed to come in, I'm supposed to come teach in Ohio in July, but I'm afraid and I'm concerned that it
Yeah,
probably won't happen. But
yeah, yeah.
I'm supposed to be in
I know.
Columbus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not far. Yeah, not far at all. Yoga on High. We're gonna go to Yoga on
Yeah,
High.
yoga and high. I mean, hopefully I can still go, but we'll see. We might have to postpone it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
so how about
Yep.
tell me about your idea for today? You wanted to talk about resiliency and vulnerability, and I'm curious what you had in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I posted something early on when this all kind of became more official. And I feel like I want to keep going back to it, but my experience has been that the people that I meet within my communities, amputees, people with serious chronic medical situations, I mean, they are pros at resilience.
Hmm.
And not saying everybody does well, but a lot more of us are such we've got such experience and wisdom, just lived experience. And I was getting annoyed because I was seeing a lot of articles and interviews with experts, and I was like, you're not asking the people who've actually lived it, and
Yeah.
they have so many of them have so much hope, and they have so many answers. And I just got thinking about resilience. We all have it, and we're all dealing with it in our own ways right now. And for some people, there is no going back to something after this all happens. They've been living isolated lives or protected lives for a long time. They've been adapting for years. They've been figuring things out for a long time. So
Yeah.
for them, it's not a big change,
No.
So yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of power, strength, and resiliency to tap from in our
Right.
disability community, our adaptive community.
I wonder, I realized I didn't really have you introduce yourself. I mean, we have your bio up on the link for the event, but I wonder if you wouldn't mind I should have started here, but just go back and tell us a little bit about your work, because I know you've done, well, maybe you could just tell us. You have quite a few things.
So I'm a below-knee amputee. I had cancer when I was little, and I started practicing yoga in LA in the early 80s. So I've been doing it a long time, and I became a teacher officially in 1999. So I've been teaching officially for a long time. And I think I've always been teaching therapeutic yoga because the people that have been coming to me since the beginning have always they just had a sense from seeing me that I would understand. So I've had people with serious conditions come to me for a long time.
Mhm.
And then I started Yoga for Amputees officially in 2008 with the whole trademark and the whole thing, on the website.
Yeah.
But I've been teaching that for a while now, and there's trainings, and there's a book I'm really proud of, and
Yeah, it's
just
beautiful.
thank
I
you.
have it
Yeah,
right
I feel
here.
really good about it. But I've worked with people I've had kidney transplant, well versed in
There it is.
um, immunosuppression and yoga, and living with wiping down things all the time. So
Did you see? I
yeah,
have
so
your
there's
book.
some programs.
It's so amazing. I was looking at it the other day, and I was just thinking about how thorough it is. I mean, you basically like teach all of yoga.
I know, it's an unfortunate set. I used to have people come. I had to learn when I had a student who I loved so much, and she took one of my weekend trainings, and then months later, she told me I was sobbing when I left, because she was sobbing when she left, because I had just given them way too much information, you know.
Yeah.
She was completely
Yeah, look how thick
but,
this book is. You know, it's like you cover it all. It's quite amazing. It's a beautiful book. I love all the photos. It's so great to see so many diverse bodies, which is something I'm really interested in.
yeah.
It's such a great book, really. I don't know if, and I hope people know about it. Did you self-publish?
You know, I did end up, I had a big drama with a publisher. So that was part of the heartbreak of it all. And I just decided to do it anyway.
Wow.
And it was the right decision, because it had to be a certain way. And there was a Kindle edition, so it's less heavy than that one.
Anyway, it's such a beautiful book. I really hope people get it. If Amazon is shipping books right now, which is questionable.
No, I have left, but I have to. It's like a whole series. Like Matthew Taylor ordered a book for somebody, and I had to get my sister to come and pick it up, and then she had to go, and
Ah,
you know.
wow.
And
So you're shipping them yourself?
Yeah. So yeah.
So people, can they order them from you directly?
Like I have a few left. Like maybe
Okay.
3. I always keep some on staff. But there's also this guy, what's his name? Is it Yoga Books Wholesale? He's got some, Ray.
Okay.
He might be able to ship some. And then there's Barnes and Noble has it too, so you don't necessarily have to go to Amazon.
There you go. Yeah, there's lots of sources. All right, so I didn't mean to distract you. You were telling us, talking. Well, I mean, I love that basic concept that, you know, people with disabilities have been doing this. Many people have done this for a long time. They know about how to handle these kind of challenges, and, you know, like being isolated, looking at accessibility issues for everything, especially like working remotely, handling their own trauma and grief. Like, is that what you're saying? I mean, that we can learn from people that have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. And I can't tell you the stories I hear about amputees. I just can't even. It's unbelievable. I mean, the book has some stories of people and how the amputation has actually been a gift for them as well. But boy, some people go through a lot because of limb loss and other diseases. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just have a big, you know, I really believe that if you, the brain and the body have a lot of mechanisms available to us if we really tap in and find them. And we're very resourceful when we need to be. So I think that can also create hope, you know?
And so we do that through our yoga practice. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yoga practice, rituals, daily mindset, scheduling, having a rhythm to your day, especially because something like this is so traumatic. Not everybody has community. I can tell you so for some people, their only community is Facebook amputee groups. They really lean on them. So that can be their community, because they may not have the physical experience of a person next to them. I also think resting is really important, because when you have to adapt, it takes a lot of skill, and that can be exhausting. And I know a lot of people are experiencing fatigue right now because adapting to a shocking situation requires certain things to kick up, usually our fight or flight. But over a period of time, you get to see like, okay, well, I have done these things that have helped me adapt. And then for many people, I mean, I have friends that have had prosthetics for years, and, you know, one day the prosthetic is fine, the next day they can't wear it, so they can't go to work, you know, and what do?
Yeah.
You adapt.
Yeah. What's
So
helping
I'm
you
just
right
in and
now?
out.
Like, what is working for you? Um,
Um, oh, my dog. My dog is
Good
working
dog.
for me.
Yeah.
She's getting really thin because we're walking so much. But I'm just giving her so much agape love, and
Uh,
these kind of things are really helping. So I've been doing some online things. And I'm like you, Jivana, and I've consciously chosen not to do it. But I mean, when this started, I was recording all these videos. Like
yeah.
this week, I was gonna translate all these videos into Spanish and re-record.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was like, that's amazing, Marsha. You can't do that in one day. But of course, I think I can. Um, but that's me. Book ideas. I've got this whole list. So I'm good. List help because it gives me
Yeah.
something to feel like I can. Humor.
Humor.
Um, Humor, absolutely. Dancing. I haven't been doing a lot of asana at all. I've been doing a ton
Mm.
of pranayama and a ton of meditation and
Mm.
mudras. I've also been doing a lot of acu yoga
Ah.
and more like martial arts stuff that I'm
Mm.
watching. So just more gentle practices like that. But asana is not pulling me in at all. So
Uh-huh.
more to teach it, not to do it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe I wonder maybe towards the end of this, if you could lead us through something, maybe you could
sure. Yeah.
think of something we
Yeah.
could do together.
What are you doing to help with,
Actually, it's crazy, but I've been really working on strengthening. Like for some reason, my body, I just feel like I need to get stronger. So I'm doing some asanas. I'm actually doing some weightlifting. I have little tiny weights that I've just been going to every day, which is not what I normally do. So that's been
huh?
interesting to watch. And yeah, I just feel like I want to spend this time getting stronger. Um,
Mm,
that's been really interesting. And also
yeah,
trying to get
it's
my
pretty
son,
amazing.
I have an 18-year-old son who sits at the computer all day. And so I'm trying to get him to move a little with me, encouraging him to do that. And also walking. We have two dogs too. So, I love walking them just around our block or in the neighborhood. Um,
Yeah.
and actually, Santa Barbara, the beaches are still open here. So I've been going to the beach
Oh, good. Yeah.
early in the morning and walking. That's been really nice.
So nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know he's up more towards Palo Alto and everything's closed now. So,
I know. A lot of most bigger beaches are closed. This is a pretty small town. And also, I
yeah.
agree with you though. Pranayama and meditation, I find um, meditation has been hard, actually. I think my mind is kind of racing. Um, but pranayama feels important. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like I'm seeing a lot of discussion about pranayama for COVID-19, like using it as treatment, and I worry a little
Yeah.
about that. I worry
Yeah.
about people jumping into treating something and using yoga as treatment. I've always had like a resistance to that idea. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I think you can use yoga practice to become more in touch with yourself, to be stronger and healthier, sure. But I think when we start, and I mean, I think it's a way that people misunderstand yoga therapy in a way that think it's about treating a particular issue, and that's not really what yoga therapy is. Yoga
Yeah.
therapy is about the whole person. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm kind of worried about that, like how pranayama, I see it being put out a little bit as as like a treatment or a therapy for this, very serious disease.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I can tell you that, when my kidneys they literally failed, they stopped working,
Mhm.
and I was really sick, and I got every kind of you know, antidote and idea about what I should be doing or
Yeah.
what I shouldn't be doing in terms of food and exercise and nutrition, just nutrition and mindset. That obviously was completely my fault that this happened.
Oh,
And that was the biggest one. That was the most helpful. Essential oils. And you know what? I did all of it. but the only way for me to live was to actually be tied to a machine. That is the only way for me to have lived, because it's Western medicine. So I decided to choose that. I could have just, I mean, I've met people who tried to go holistically. They were all in the hospital within a week. So,
Yeah.
Very well-meaning usually, unless there's the person feels like somehow they're immune.
Right.
I don't really get that at all, but
No.
how would I say it? It's a free-for-all, so even if you're the healthiest person in the world, you could still end up with a problem. I mean, I think out of the book, like 3 or 4 people that are in the book that are models were just people living their lives, and then all of a sudden they got a strep throat or a cold, and the next thing you know, they're missing like 3 limbs because they got septic shock, right? So it was something very normal, and they're doing fine, they're doing amazingly, but you just don't know. So I think preventative things are great, but I think they're contradictory.
Yeah, I mean, I do know that there's, respiratory therapy is good for people with respiratory diseases, but I think we need to let those therapists do that. And yoga can be, like I said, preventative, and it can be a source of healing in a deeper way for us, our yoga practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole act of moving and doing any kind of breath work is going to give you a sense of vitality. It just is, but that just seems normal and practical. Like movement does create a sense of well-being usually.
Right.
So,
right. And I think for your immune system, that's right. Moving, exercising, and deep breathing is good. I mean, it's all good for general health, but I think we have to stop there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
So what else? You talked about vulnerability, and I guess I wanted to know what you were thinking about that.
Yeah. So I personally, I don't know about you, I'm not personally great at vulnerability. It's hard for me to do that one. I tend to be more stoic and quiet about things. However, there's just physical realities where I'm always going to be more vulnerable. And I think that this experience kicks it up for all of us, whether it's financial vulnerability, health vulnerability, relationship vulnerability, because it's down to like the rawest experiences of who we are, and they're always vulnerable. So I feel like it's really important for us to acknowledge and honor them, just like you did in our meditation. I mean, I had this lady literally, yell, like energetically yell at me because I shared something on Facebook that was, I felt responsible because people were, saying that you can just do this and you will be cured or you won't get this disease. And, and she said I was being really negative and that light workers are supposed to hold the light. And I was like, well, in my experience, light workers are the strongest light workers can hold the light and the dark together. And that's the practice of yoga, right? Is being able to see both and still stay connected to your spirit and to the bigger picture of things. So
I love that.
think that's where vulnerability is, right there between the two, right?
Yeah, that's why I love that idea, the 2 words you put together for the title of resiliency and vulnerability. I think it's like the 2 sides of the same coin. You can't really have one without the other. The dark and the light, you can't have one without the other. I mean, if people are light workers and they're just, to me, that's spiritual bypassing. If they're just completely focused on everything's okay, it's all for good, then you're in denial about the reality of people's suffering. And I don't think you're really helping, honestly.
No, I mean, and I have seen a lot of yogis say things within the past week that have been very, I'm going to say hurtful, and I'm going to also use that word ignorant, which I know is not the most loving word, but they've said things like, it's just a part of life, people die. I keep thinking, unless it's you, then you might have a different response. Like you might not want to be that person who is part of the fact of life. You might decide to be alive a little longer. Oh, we lost you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We're here if anybody has any questions. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Almost. Hi, Stretchy. Hello, Emily. This up higher. Okay. Okay. Oh.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? Marsha, can you hear me?
Hey.
Can you
Ooh,
hear
now
me
you're on the
now?
other side of the screen.
That was,
I just posted
I
something.
think my internet just disappeared, but it
About
came
that.
back. Can you hear me? Let me just
Yeah,
sweat a little.
we're kind of in and out.
Okay. Well, maybe we could just do a practice. I'm worried about the internet. I think it's not stable today.
I'm
But I wonder if you'd be willing.
yeah.
I can
Hold
hear
on
you
a
okay.
second.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it just sounds
Okay.
scratchy.
Well, I wonder if you could lead something. Would you be willing, or if you want to finish your thought, if you were talking, and if you want to say anything else, and then maybe lead us in a practice and we can end there. I think my internet is questionable today.
Yeah, sure. So, these dogs go on for like a half hour or
Yeah, I
so? Is
mean,
that the
we could
idea?
just spend a
Like
few
30 minutes?
minutes more if you want to talk a
Okay.
little more, but then maybe lead us through something.
Okay. I'm just wondering if anybody has any questions about resiliency or tips or,
Um,
um,
well, there was
before I'm just looking at comments.
there were questions earlier of
Okay.
gentle yoga for the sick. Someone's asking. Oh, that's Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Sorry to hear you're sick. She was asking about gentle yoga that you'd recommend right now for someone who is sick.
For someone who is
Who is
what?
sick right now? What if people are sick right now?
Well, the one that I have been seeing, which I love, I don't know if I can demonstrate it very well here, but and you might want to have a block, and it is drainage, like drainage of your lungs, where you take a chair and you flip it over like so, and I'll turn the computer down so you can see, and put a blanket on the chair, Okay, so let me show you. Hopefully you can see something there. Probably not. So here's my chair. Okay, and I flipped it upside down. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and you just come through with a blanket, roll down, and then put something underneath your head. And just let the body begin to drain a little bit.
So that's like supported down dog position, kind of like a propped inversion.
And then I also think, yep, as long as it's not too much. And then the other one that I like, I'm going to switch the chair the other way, is to do more like this, which is good for asthmatics especially. Just a rounded, like a child's pose, but elevated.
Resting your head on the seat of the chair?
Yeah.
Sitting facing a chair. Yeah, that's like a seated forward bend on the floor with a chair in front of you, resting your head on the seat. I love that pose.
So this, for me, this is very comfortable, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit or a lot uncomfortable if your lungs are really congested. But the point is, it's supposed to open up the back body. And also, this is one that I do, and since I saw the red-tailed hawk, we can bring that one in. But it's to just imagine that the tailbone is like that. I think the end of the tailbone is, oh, I'm gone again. Voila, there. Oh.
I highlighted your screen so we could see what you're doing.
Okay, sit up. Okay, yeah. So basically, I'm just sitting, but what I was thinking, which is really nice, I do this with amputees. So the tailbone, if you think of it like there's a red-tailed feather, that bunch of feathers feathering out from the tailbone, right? So that there's a rooting sensation all the way out, and then let the breath just start to fill up through the back body and feel like you're leaning into that, like you're getting the support from the tail feathers pressing down, and then you're getting that lift, and you're filling up the whole middle and top of the back with your breath. And you can also just do this sitting against a wall, so that you even putting a block here so you can feel the feedback into your shoulders. I would put the block probably this way, you know, like so, lengthwise.
Okay.
The shoulders can wrap around this in.
Someone's asked, Christine, someone's asking about, you recommend tapping the lungs, but I don't think we're really recommending things, just general. It's very general. Because someone said, what breath is best for congestion? I don't think that we really have specific recommendations.
I mean, you still want to check with your doctors. These are very gentle. You know what I also used to do a lot when I was hospitalized and I would have congestion. And again, these are all just strong suggestions. They are not for a medical expert, right? But I would just take a pillow and hold the, and we do this in yoga for amputees too, hold the pillow and press in and breathe. Because that pressure sometimes can feel like you're getting a little extra support, and then you don't feel like you have to take a huge deep breath in because you might not be able to, because everything's too tight. But it's, I've done that a lot when I've had surgeries.
Hugging a pillow and breathing into the pressure of the pillow against your chest. That's a great idea.
Yeah, those are, I mean, that one is done in hospitals a lot, to help with bringing people back to breath, fullness of breath.
Okay. I'll come back.
Anybody else have a
question? Someone asked about how to connect with amputees who want to practice yoga online.
I wish I could hear you better.
Ah,
Let me see. I'm going to see
um,
it on Facebook. Might
how
be a
to
little funky, but
how to connect
go
with
for it.
amputees who want to practice yoga online.
Okay. Hold on. So you're asking,
How to connect with amputees who want to practice yoga online.
okay, so couple of ways. Well, I've been doing, I'm not going to say weekly. It's sort of basically when I feel like it right now, when I feel motivated to do it. Going to the amputee communities on Facebook, and just saying, hey guys, I'm going to teach a class. It has been challenging because I keep, being, I'm going to call it graciously explaining prana exchange. And I've gotten maybe a few people signed up, subscribed to Yoga for Amputees, a few people liking Yoga for Amputees. Nobody has paid me yet since I've done them. So I've also been directing them to, we have classes on the website and through YouTube. And, I try to balance it because a lot of amputees really are financially struggling. So, but there does need to be a prana exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's a challenge all yoga teachers are having. I don't know if you can hear me, but I think for all of us, we're
Yeah.
learning how to make money
Yeah.
teaching online, which is new for a lot of people.
Yep. But I think in starting, I think I'm going to start in May. I'm going to start a weekly subscription, just like you guys are doing with Accessible Yoga Ambassadors, because I'm producing a lot of material that's very specific. And I don't like calling myself an expert because I feel like we're all learning. But I've certainly had like a good 40 years of experience, and I've been practicing yoga as an amputee for 30 years and studying quite a bit. So I feel like I have a lot to offer, and really safe teacher. So I'm going to do that in May. I'm going to launch something in May to start, weekly classes.
Great.
But the exciting thing is that some of our trainees are teaching classes to amputees online and within their community. There's a beautiful yogi in London who's teaching the London group, and there's a woman in Maryland who's doing it. So,
So how can people find you?
See.
How can they find you?
What? I'm going to listen on Facebook. It sounds better.
Okay, I was saying, how can they find you?
So what's the question?
How can people find you?
How do people find me? So, yogaforamputees.com. I'm going to listen on Facebook. Yeah. It sounds better. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's on Facebook. You can message me. And I've started doing readings again, so people are interested in that too. I've kind of come back to that, so I've been really enjoying doing those, like shamanic healing readings for a while now. So.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate it. I think we should stop there because of our technology challenges. I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much, though.
Yes. So Jessica, I see Jessica about the pleural effusion. So yeah, weight of water is really heavy. Yeah, you want to be elevated. Yep. You can be. Okay, anything else here? Okay, watch my friends. Okay. Tapping the lungs. Oh yeah. Why not? So I'm always thinking of amputees. So I'm always like, can they tap their lungs? Because we might have people without hands in our group.
Okay, I was saying, how can they find you? Okay.
There he is again. Yeah.
Wow, look at that screen
any other
going crazy.
questions?
Well, I think.
Can you type, maybe, Jivana?
People find you.
Okay, it's recovery program. We use lots of Zoom. Okay. Do you, I can't really hear you.
Okay. Well, I just want to say
So
goodbye. I think we should stop here. I want to say goodbye. I think you could write in there, and answer questions online. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sorry about
It's
that.
hard to hear, but it's so good to see you.
You too. Sorry about the technology. Let's just go, okay? We'll say goodbye there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye.